This article stating that the bottom 60% of Americans can't afford a basic minimum quality of life is such a misdirect in the way it's being presented, because 60% is a huge majority of the country. To say that they cannot afford the minimal quality of life in terms of being able to afford rent, housing, putting food on the table for you and your family, and a basic quality of life. And actually, it goes on to interestingly discuss also employment statistics, which are much more horrifying than we realize, because we very often get presented with, oh, the unemployment rate is only 4 point something percent. It's so low, it's come down. But that doesn't equate for people who are living at poverty level with the income that they are making, because there's a huge number of people who are working such low income jobs that it ultimately is still a level of poverty. And there's also a huge amount of people that have jobs but don't have full-time employment. They're unable to attain for that. And apparently the statistic of that is much closer to 24%. And when you look at the constant increase in cost of living, the fact that now we're paying tariffs on things that we're getting cheaper from other countries, so they're now becoming more expensive, it is just absolutely mind-blowing that 60% is already the number, because that number is just undoubtedly going to continue to climb for the entire country.
Hey all, it's Friday, so it's time for your weekly roundup of how the economy is doing under Trump. Spoiler alert, not great. First up, 1 in 3 Americans now say their finances have gotten worse this year. That's almost 100 million adults struggling more than they were 12 months ago. Consumer confidence, that just dropped unexpectedly for the first time in months. Basically all that means is that people are now starting to get scared about money. Inflation is accelerating again. Core prices rose at the fastest pace in 5 months, and producer prices had their biggest jump in 3 years. In fact, those grew 4.5 times faster than economists expected. Grocery bills, well, I don't need to tell you, they're skyrocketing. Vegetable prices spiked almost 40% in July alone, thanks to Trump's tariffs and mass deportation. 40%. And yes, now veggieflation is a thing. Coffee and tea prices are up. Beef is way up. And apparently we also now have bananaflation. Even Arizona iced tea is looking at raising its prices for the first time in 30 years because of aluminum prices. Wow. Fast food sales are tanking. Places like Chipotle, KFC, and Wendy's saw sales drop up to 7% because people literally can't afford to eat out even there anymore. There's a slowdown at fast casual restaurants as well. In fact, restaurant sales across the board are just down. Check this out. We just hit the highest rate of layoffs since COVID. Over 800,000 job cuts announced so far this year, and the deficit up 20% this year, approaching $37 trillion. Remember when Republicans cared about that? Meanwhile, Trump's approval rating on inflation, well, as of today, he's 27 points underwater, as unpopular as Biden was in 2022. And that's it for today. See you next Friday for another round of economic winning, assuming, of course, Trump doesn't shut down social media to stop these numbers getting out.
When I talk about the way we live our lives here in the West, some people say, Uncle Rody is spreading negative energy. Some people say, I complain too much. There are some other people who said, I shouldn't be talking because I failed. Now let me tell you what I just found out this afternoon. You understand me? Because I like keeping it real. So many people, especially people of African descent, are hypocrites. Do you understand what I mean by hypocrites? They are fake. They are not real. Let me read out what I found out this afternoon. According to Bankrate report in USA, 60% of Americans in 2025 don't have enough savings to cover an unexpected $1,000 emergency expense. 60% of Americans, both white, black, Hispanics, anybody living in America, 60% do not have $1,000 cash to solve their emergency expenses. 60%. You can check it out. And when I talk, because I am an African man, you come at me, you say, Uncle Rodi is spreading negative news. I'm telling you, that is how people are living abroad. See, this report does not say, it didn't say all Americans. It says 60%, not 100%. So when I'm making my videos, I'm not saying everybody, but the vast majority. That is when I tell you that people living in Africa are even doing much more better than some people living abroad. People living in Africa are doing much more better. Even some they have more money than people living abroad. You come to dispute me. You can check it out. I want to end this video here. My name is Rodi. See you in my next video.
More than 60% of Americans who move overseas end up returning within a year. And one of the biggest reasons is an unexpected tax or residency shock. Not because it's too hard, not because it's too expensive, but they didn't understand the surface level rules that govern their move. The United States is one of 2 countries alongside Eritrea that taxes citizens regardless of where they live. What this means is when you move to Lisbon, Mexico City,
Americans are so broke and they don't even realize it. I always get Americans tell me, oh, but people in Mexico only make $20 a day. You can get a full meal here for $2. The metro in Mexico City costs 5 pesos, which is like 25 cents. I can go to the market right now and buy 3 kilos of mangoes for like $2. Yeah, people make less money here, but the cost of living is also lower. Americans think that everywhere is like the US. Now, check this out. Let's say you live in the US and you make $3,500 a month after taxes. I'm being generous. Rent, $2,000. Car payment, $500. Car insurance, $200. Health insurance, $200. Phone bill, $100. Wi-Fi bill, $50. Light bill, $150. Water bill, $100. What's the point of making more money if you don't get to keep any of it? Who cares if you make $4,000 a month if you don't get to keep any of it? 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and that includes half of 6-figure earners. 80% of you guys are in debt and don't own anything, and half of you guys don't even have $500 in your savings account. But let's call other countries poor and let's call other people poor. Living paycheck to paycheck your whole life and being in debt your whole life should be considered poverty, but it's not. And I know this is gonna hurt a lot of Americans, but it's the truth. The US system wants you to spend every waking moment of your life working and paying into a system that will never benefit you. Slaving away your whole life just to be retired for a measly 10 years. At least here in Mexico, we own our things, we own our houses, we own our cars, we're not in debt. But anyways, that's a story for another day. Let me know what you guys think.
60% of the American public is about to lose everything they have. People living paycheck to paycheck are about to go broke. The GDP numbers came in yesterday, and of course the economy receded, which I predicted 2 months ago, and people laughed. Mark my words, the second quarter is going to be far worse. Tariffs on Chinese products at 145% are about to kick in, which means everything you buy from China on Amazon or elsewhere is about to go through the roof. Grocery store shelves are starting to empty at Walmarts across the country, and of course grocery prices continue to soar. People who've been financing groceries on credit are starting to default on those payments. We are about to see an economic catastrophe. If you're in this 60% that has little or no money, please stop spending money. Protect your family. Trump does not care about you. Even if you voted for him, he's a billionaire. He won't suffer, but you and your family will. Please protect yourself. 60% of the American public is about to lose everything they have. People living paycheck to paycheck are about to go broke. The GDP numbers came in yesterday.